Welcome to Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Zena, Keita, Kerith, Burke. We're coming off a game where the Warriors held the top-scoring team in the NBA, the Pacers, to 109 points. A wire-to-wire win for the Warriors. Wow, is that a tongue twister? Hey, wire-to-wire win for the Warriors.
That's amazing. And you skated through that.
The Warriors, a 4-1 road trip, and they are winners of 5 of their last 6. Lots of things to be encouraged by, and this was all buoyed by one Steph Curry.
Stephen Curry, absolutely magical tonight. And I think really not only just magical in what he always does, but magically resilient. When you think about the fact that last night, 9 points, he was laughing on the bench though. He was in good spirits. And I think it's because he knows what he's capable of. I looked this up. There's been 7 back-to-backs that the Warriors have had this season. In all 7, Steph has scored more points on the second night, or at least 20 or more points.
At age 35?
At age 35. So out of the 5 of 7, he scored more points. And then all 7, he's had 20 or more points. So every single time, regardless of what's going on in the game the night before, he's going to come back with a more residual energy. It's as if he's got like another extra bank at home waiting for him. And then on top of that, not only just game to game, half to half. He started the half tonight, 29 points, 18 in that first quarter. And he knew they were going to adjust to him in the second half. Guess what he does? He goes inside.
I was just going to say,
he finds a mid-range.
Was he not on the scouting report?
This is Stephen Curry.
Starting 7 of 7 from 3? Okay, he is our BMW ultimate performer. Yeah, 7 for 7 from 3 to start. That is incredible. Finished with 42? 42 points for Steph Curry, an absolute show. This is the kind of thing where if you're in the crowd at this sort of game, you're kind of like, this stinks that it's against my team, but could he maybe go for the record? Maybe? What were you thinking when you were watching this?
I thought the exact same thing, but from the perspective of if you've never watched basketball before and you go to this as your first game, you're now thinking this is normal. You're thinking this is easy. You're actually thinking, maybe I could do this too.
Oh, that's right.
Because that's how effortless he puts it. I actually love in the Warriors media guide, they have something called Steffortless.
Okay.
And just talking about his ability to put up threes and just his ability to create for himself. And tonight was another, absolutely bonkers.
True.
Most games with 11 or more three-point field goals made. And not only most games, he's killing everybody by 7.
His
8,
Splash brother
9.
alongside of him, but yes.
He's absolutely killing it. He's absolutely bonkers. And what he did tonight truly made scoring look like it's nothing.
Okay.
It's casual. And I love the way he put it. He flirted with his Splash Bros record. Klay Thompson having the record of 14 threes in a game. Just 3 off,
Only 3 off. Happy birthday, Klay. Why don't we hear from Mr. Bonkers himself, Steph Curry, at the podium.
Our half-court defense has been, I don't know what the numbers say, but it felt like really solid, making it tough on teams, and then you keep them to one shot. And that for us has been the difference. We can score. Haven't had much of a problem with that. It's just the other end of the floor, and we've been doing a lot better job.
Second year now it's perfect.
Every game, I think these last 4, different people have stepped up. Even like a game like tonight, Gee hits 2 big threes in the 4th. Lester's been giving us great minutes. Just making sound basketball plays. BP's playing with both units a little bit, so he's understanding when, his spots are, how to manage the game, get guys involved. Made a huge play tonight that lobbed the Gee in like a very pivotal moment where it could kind of swing one way or another, the momentum. So everybody's contributing, and that's the way we're gonna build a run like we have and like we want to keep doing. The normal conversations of we're thinking about this, there's opportunity for that, but it was very quiet for the most part, especially today. Sucks losing Corey. He's like, if anybody knows Corey Joseph and his personality, his presence. He's the ultimate professional. He brings just a great spirit about it, you know, in the locker room, helping the young guys. He's been around. He knows how to play. So that type of guy is a connector. And we're going to miss him for sure. And that was obviously a tough one. I understand the business of the game and the money and all that, but I'm going to miss him for sure. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of options until there's like a material deal, and you don't really get too worked up about it, especially from a player standpoint. I know front offices, I mean, I'm probably sure I get half of the news that they talk about, you know, in their meetings and all that type of stuff. It's just confidence this is our team, this is our challenge. We have great energy. We have guys that love playing with each other. And, you know, this last half of the season is up to us to go out and, again, try to build as many wins and be a team that nobody wants to see come playoff time. And you take it from there. Yeah, there is for sure. But again, the challenge is to not get too ahead of yourself thinking that you can just show up and win games. Like, that can never be the mentality. You have to, how do you win? I've been saying it forever. How do you win this particular game? And, you know, until we find a little bit of, I don't even know what the numbers look like in the standings, but we got a long way to go to get to some security there. And nobody's counting or looking too far ahead right now. So you want to get to the All-Star break with a lot of momentum. And if we can get that done, I like where we are.
It's interesting. If Steph likes where the team is, he understands what's going on. I just had post-game notes. Steph Curry recorded his fourth 40-point game of the season with this 42-point performance. He had 60 on the same road trip against the Hawks. So, yeah, unreal. Steph likes the team. And Mike Dunleavy likes the team. They had to say goodbye to Corey Joseph. But I had a chance to ask Mike Dunleavy, when you look at your roster, do you see a championship team? And here's how he answered that question.
Well, you know, we don't have a championship record at this point. And so that's the challenge, to get ourselves into the mix and get ourselves, you know, whether it's to the play-in or into the tournament is the most important thing. We have championship experience. We have guys that have been there and can do it. I think we're capable. Unfortunately, we just haven't played to that level to this point in the season. My biggest concern defensively, frankly, is our ability to stop the ball, protect the basket. And, you know, we looked at things that would help with that. But I think if everybody plays to their maximum ability, I think we're there with any team in the league. I think we've shown that, frankly, this year with the games we've been in. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to win those games in a lot of cases. But, you know, train's moving the station right now, and we gotta get this thing going. I think everybody feels a sense of urgency.
Championship experience can take you a long way. Steph Curry can take you a long way. So the Warriors now only one game under 500, 33 games left. Zena, what could make you a believer that the Warriors could turn this season around?
Well, there's two things that Golden State has struggled with all season. Mike Dunleavy just alluded to the number one thing, the defensive aspect, being able to stop the ball, particularly at the point of attack, and then also inside. Their defense has improved. You just saw them keep the number one scoring team in the NBA 14 points under their average. That's a positive. You also just saw them keep a Tyrese Halliburton to 5 points in the midst of an entire game. That's important. The aspect of size inside, you just saw Brandon Pajemski keep Miles Turner out on the block single-handedly. No help defense, no one come over to double down by himself. So they're improving in that aspect. The other thing all season, lineup consistency. That rotating door of injuries and illnesses, and obviously Draymond's suspension, they haven't been able to find that, quote, death lineup.
Okay.
I would say that they've probably found it.
Okay.
Now that they've unlocked Wiggins and Kuminga, they've really unleashed something. So those are the two things that would make them championship caliber. Now the third thing is getting all of that together and using what they're talking about, momentum. Okay. Steph mentioned it, Dunleavy mentioned it, they have to get it going.
Okay, consistency, because they had 17 different starting lineups. They had a different starting lineup tonight because Klay wasn't there. But when the dust settles and everybody's happy, Steph, Klay, Wiggins, JK, Draymond. Okay, and Draymond feels like the glue between all of this, actually. That this all coincides with Draymond's return and the way that Wiggins and Kuminga can play together.
And not only is Draymond a glue, Kuminga's a connector too. Because you saw him be in that second rotation tonight as well, being now an offensive glue maker by being a person that can get a bucket. Mm-hmm. Draymond is a glue maker offensively and defensively in that he can create offense and he can also direct traffic on defense. Kuminga has become a offensive maker because whatever you put out there, you know you can get a bucket with him. You can get some sort of offense with him. So that's a really huge point to have, not only a Draymond, but also a Kuminga coming into glue.
This is so interesting. Kuminga had chapter 1 this season where he was disturbed. He was upset by his amount of playing time.
For sure.
Then he had chapter 2 once that became resolved with Steve Kerr. And look at what Kuminga is doing now, third year, just looking for his opportunity and making the most of it. Okay, absolutely. When we come back, the Warriors have some people coming back. As Zena mentioned, this team is not healthy. What happens when CP3 comes back? What happens when GP2 comes back? We'll discuss how everything fits when Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World, continues.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit us during our President's Day sale. Save up to $1,000 on the biggest brands, plus free delivery. Hurry in now or visit us online at sleepworld.com.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Shannon says, eager to see how they will play against the Suns. Yes, we are going to talk about the upcoming schedule. They have some teams that are ahead of them in the Western Conference standings. Luup says by dumping Corey's $2 million salary, they actually save almost $14 million. Okay, so his salary was $3.2 million. This is Corey Joseph we're talking about. And because of the luxury tax and the penalties the Warriors face for having the highest payroll, ultimately I think they will save about $11 million. So it's nice to have that off of the books for the Warriors. Plus it opens up another roster spot. So now they have 2, which is interesting to play with. I think we might talk about this too, but perhaps they'll reward Lester Quinones there. That's something they'll probably look at.
Dunleavy said today that he was happy with that optionality of just being able to have a little bit of room to play with.
That's right. Maybe some 10 days are coming, maybe not. Catherine says, hey, Kerith and Zena. Hi, Kat. How are you? We'll see you this weekend.
I know. We miss you. It's been a while since we were at the arena.
That's right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Happy birthday, Clay, Bertha says. We support you. Enjoy your day. Very nice.
Love that.
All right. Somebody said it's annoying when we can't hear the questions being asked in the press conference. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. I agree. I actually want to know the questions that Steph is being asked, just so we can contextualize them in the right way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Oh, this is nice when people are greeting each other. Like they're the
I'm
same,
telling you,
they're
they're
the
family
same
on
names in
YouTube.
here.
I love
yeah,
it.
we appreciate you. We
I love
appreciate you. Oh, buddy. All right. We are summarizing Corey Joseph. Are we? Do we even need to?
Well,
I
mean, our
can.
YouTube
I
fam
can.
did.
I can. Okay.
Yeah.
What would Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. So, we have not seen a fully healthy Warriors team this season, although they are getting much closer. CP3 on this road trip. He's been shooting a little bit pregame. His expected return, I would imagine, after the All-Star break. GP2, on the other hand, Steve Kerr said he was doubtful for this road trip, but Warriors are coming home, and GP2 is closer. He is doing individual workouts with the team. So we're talking about somebody, CP3. These numbers.
The acronyms
I know,
and
thank
numbers,
you, I know.
yeah, it's a lot.
Chris Paul. Okay, a veteran, somebody who organizes the offense, somebody who was leading the team in assists. He's coming back, so you've got that. GP2 as one of the point of attack defenders. Like he joins, Andrew Wiggins and JK in that regard. So you're getting a little offense, getting a little bit of defense, sprinkle those two in, and it gives you the good kind of problem. Depth on this team.
Depth on this team, distribution of time, because that is of essence. When you think about bringing players back into the mix of things, it's not just a matter of who can mesh well on the floor, it's also key points in games. Steph talked about even that Brandon Pajemski lob to Guy Santos coming at the right time in a game. It is so crucial to be able to have the right people out on the court at the same time to lift momentum, to push things forward, to push the pace, and sometimes, particularly in the case of CP3, when he comes into the game, to slow things down. Okay. And so the allocation of time is going to get interesting because Lester Quinones has shown that he deserves time. Guy Santos has shown that he deserves time. Remember Jonathan Kuminga, 2023, was not playing much. No. He has earned his 30 minutes. That's set. Steph is set. Draymond is set. And now you have to rotate all around that and figure out how do we keep this up athletic tempo that we've built on this road trip and in this past month in January and keep this going with the addition of those two.
What happens to Pajemski when CP3 comes back? And maybe you don't need to have an answer for that right now, but there's somebody who has been earning his minutes and looking very good. Even on the nights when he doesn't score, look in the rebound column. He's usually leading or the second leading scorer. Also comes through with some pretty big assists.
Correct.
Interesting.
And we've talked about the fact that, Corey Joseph is now not part of the equation anymore. And when Quinones was going in with Corey Joseph, there was confusion as to who was in the lanes, who was playing point, who was playing off ball, what was going on there. And so now he's out of that equation. Brandon Pajemski, Lester Quinones have played really well together. You bring back a CP3, one of those three is not needed.
Yeah, one of the odd man out there.
There's an odd man out there, and I'm not sure what the answer is going to be, and this is why I'm not Steve Kerr, folks. But it is going to be a hard problem to solve because all of them do something very uniquely different and important for the Warriors right now.
It's been interesting how much we've been talking about Lester Quinones, also Guy Santos, two guys that came up through the G League. Lester still a two-way player. Dunleavy talked about the pipeline here, how well the Warriors rely on the G League. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, I think we've been really pleased with those guys' development. We feel good about the program we have in place for all of our young players. I mean, you've seen the growth in JK, obviously, which we talked about before, but the way Lester, Guy have grown, even Moses, who was out the last few weeks. I mean, he's had a really solid year for a third-year player. And so we feel good about our program. Things are going well. We can grow guys in Santa Cruz. We can have them here in-house, working with them every day. Guys like Brandon, Trace, those guys are coming along. So we're pleased with all that. It's great to see Lester and Guy getting minutes and producing.
There is a situation, I think you call it the optionality, that perhaps the Warriors can reward Lester Quinones by converting his two-way contract. There has been a history of the Warriors doing that with their G League players who have shown up, performed well for the team. Maybe that's the situation because, just to summarize, Corey Joseph was traded for a second-rounder and cash to the Pacers. He was then later waived. But yeah, Corey was playing behind Pods and Lester, and now you have CP3 coming back, and it's just, this is really interesting. And in Lester's case, I think you saw him last season when you were reporting for the G League. He was the most improved G League player last season. This is a guy who has really done well paying his dues, and now on this road trip, some great performances for Lester.
He's not only shown up in the way that Lester Quinones to be, which is this offensive juggernaut. He has been absolute. That's what he does in the G League, is put up crazy numbers, specifically last season. But this season, you're seeing him come into the system of the Warriors and say, I don't need to be that. I needed to be that down in Santa Cruz. I don't need to do that here. I can go in and get me some big time rebounds. I can go in and hit the key shots within the offense of the Warriors. Not doing anything crazy, not doing anything. Now, he's put up some questionable shots. I think he knows. Okay. But in the shots that he's taking, they're within the Warriors offense. And then also playing Nat-like defense. He is attacking, he's ferocious, he's very much leading the charge in pushing that aggressiveness on defense. So That's great. Then you think about a Guy Santos. Guy Santos, love this player, love this guy because of his maturation. All he has done since he entered the league is mature, is adapt, is get better. He came in 6'6", 185.
Okay.
By the first summer that he was playing with the Warriors, Summer League, he was 6'8", 209.
What?
Last summer, wait for it. Last summer, he comes back, 209. He's 220. Puts on even more muscle and increased his vertical hops.
This reminds me. Remember that JK meme that he suddenly shot?
Oh,
up
yeah,
and became like 7'4" the offseason. But Guy Santos kind of actually did it.
But no, he put in the work. He was working with Santa Cruz Warriors trainer Andre Mattson.
Okay.
Every game, he was pushing weight after the game, after having played.
Yeah.
So he just continues to develop. And he said last summer, I just want to be ready.
Look,
he had to relearn the game from
Okay.
playing in Brazil to come here. And he's like, I just want to be ready.
Guy,
You've done
sir,
your job.
You're ready. I wish I knew how to say that in Portuguese. Okay, 13-8 for Guy Santos.
Yes.
Lots of encouraging things happening for these Warriors. Okay, can they keep it going? Okay, that is the question. A 4-1 road trip, can they keep the momentum going? When we come back, we're going to look at the upcoming schedule because there are some teams that the Warriors will face that are ahead of them in the standings. We've got that for you next on Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Steph Curry, 11 threes. Oh gosh, it never gets old. You know what? Next level. I meant to mention this during the show actually, but he said Lester. He or she said Lester is beating out Moses Moody for minutes. We haven't even talked about.
Oh, we
Moses.
haven't. Moses coming back. You're right.
Yeah, Moses is back. I think he played in the last game. He played in this one. Yeah.
I'm just saying coming back. He was one of the three that was out, and he
Yes,
came
gotcha.
back on this road trip.
Moses played.
Yeah.
To me, a very quiet 13 minutes. I mean, 2 of 3, he's on the floor contributing, but I was like, oh, shoot, we haven't even talked about Moses right now.
No, we haven't.
Woo! Okay. Good problems to have if everybody can stay healthy. That's what all of this is predicated on. All of it. And right now, the snapshot is getting healthier, thank goodness.
And what's so tough about what Moses is enduring right now is that his injury couldn't have come at a worse time. Because he was building the case for himself as being a person that can come in when Klay is not having a great night. He could come in, get some threes in, get some defense going. Because he, very similarly to a Pajemski and to these younger players, Lester and Guy, he comes in and gets his nose in stuff. He's in passing lanes. He's getting deflections. He's throwing his body around on the floor. And so when you have those type of hustle impact moments, rather than what Kuminga's doing, for example, offensive buckets type of impact, you have to have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to just show you need to be out there on the floor. So it's tough that he kind of got hurt at the time where he was building the case.
Moses does the things that endears himself to his teammates as well.
Exactly.
Those hustle plays.
Oh,
those,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Asia Ross, can't wait till our roster is fully healthy.
Facts.
That's when a push could come.
Facts.
All right, can you come right up on the schedule, please? Okay. Okay. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live. All right, the upcoming schedule to see if the Warriors can keep this momentum going. This takes us into the All-Star break. The Suns at Utah, the Clippers at Utah again. Now that second Utah game, the one that created the back-to-back, that's the rescheduled game. Remember, the Warriors missed the Utah game and a game against the Mavericks right after the passing of Coach Decky. So this is a rescheduled game. Shortens the All-Star break a little bit for them, but that was the best solution for everybody involved. We're talking about 3 teams right there that are ahead of the Warriors in the standings. So I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing. But if the Warriors want me to be a believer that they can start turning the season around and start moving up into the play-in or even above the play-in, so that's not even a factor,
Right.
I need to see it now.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I am looking one game at a time because Golden State has failed to show consistency in their ability to play well, whether it's at home, then going on the road, or going on the road, then going at home. Everyone remembers how well they started this season on the road, having the most amount of road games out of anyone in the NBA in that first month, and they came home And you would think that they had forgotten how to play basketball a little bit. So I am just looking at one game at a time. What are they going to do, particularly against the Phoenix, who just got a little bit bolstered? They just got Royce O'Neal. But right now, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD.
It's like
that's
Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got to look at those three because not all of them are just going to have off nights. Well, you can't all have a Tyrese Halliburton situation.
Yeah.
There's going to be an answer for that team regardless. And so this is going to be the question, that litmus test. I love how you put that often, Kerith. That litmus test of how good is this Warriors defense shaping up to be.
Mm-hmm. Connectivity, I think, shows most on defense. And
Absolutely.
then defense turns into offense. You see the way that everything's
Festus would be so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think we got a note from our producer, David. David, thank you for this. The Warriors have played, if I can recall, because I didn't write it down, they have played the second toughest schedule up to this point, and they have the sixth easiest remaining. Okay?
And that's huge.
So they are going to get some help on the schedule. That's helpful.
That's absolutely helpful, because when you think about after the All-Star break, that's when the rush starts. This is where you start separating who is at the top of the league versus who's just showing up in the regular season and not going to make it to the playoffs.
Okay, the Warriors have had some of those extremely frustrating games where they've lost by 1 point, or those clutch games where it's a matter of 5 points, or those games where they have massive leads and give up massive, terrible losses. And I really hope, I mean, maybe there will be a couple more of those this season, but I hope we are doing happy, optimistic, interesting shows. The Warriors have to show that they are a better than 500 team. They haven't been that for several weeks now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, but
now's the
2
time.
wins now where leads have been in the 20s throughout the game, and they've closed them.
Yep.
That's
okay.
encouraging. 2
back-to-backs in this 5-game road trip. Steph Curry, as you noted, played even better in the back-to-backs. Okay, thank you for joining us on YouTube. Thanks for watching Dubs Talk Live. We will continue.